Every visitor who walks into a hospital has to sign a log. Name, patient, time in its routine paperwork. Nothing more except for 1 week in March, when the same name kept showing up for a patient who, according to our system, had no living family left at all. My name is Jennifer Walsh. I worked the front reception desk at Ridgeline Memorial Hospital in Sacramento, California, for 6 years. I've dealt with grieving families, confused elderly patients, and angry insurance calls. Nothing prepared me for what happened that spring. The patient was Diane Combs, 74, admitted for congestive heart failure. Every afternoon at the same time, a man signed in to see her. Walter Combs, husband. His ID scanned clean every visit, driver's license, photo matched, no flags. He was polite, always brought a small bouquet of daisies, always stayed exactly 40 minutes. One of the newer nurses mentioned, almost as a joke, that Diane didn't have any family listed in her chart. No husband on record, no emergency contact at all. I pulled the visitor log to check. Walter Combs, every day for 2 weeks. ID verified each time. So I searched his name in our records, just to be thorough. What came up was an obituary from 3 years earlier. Walter Combs, 69, survived by his wife Diane, killed in a car accident on Highway 50. I told myself it had to be a different Walter Combs. A coincidence, except the driver's license number in our scanner matched the one printed in that obituary exactly, down to the last digit. I even called the county records office to double-check. The clerk on the phone confirmed it, without hesitation. Walter Combs had been buried at Sunset Lawn Cemetery 3 years ago. Plot 114. I pulled the hallway camera footage for his last visit. The timestamp showed him walking down the corridor toward Diane's room, clear as day. But the footage from the front desk, the exact same timestamp, showed no one signing in at my station at all. The log entry existed. The man on camera existed. But nobody had been standing in front of me to write it. I didn't say anything to Diane. I told myself I would just watch. The next time he came the next afternoon, right on schedule. I watched him walk past my desk without stopping, without the pen ever touching the sign-in sheet. And yet, when I looked down, a new line had already been written in ink that hadn't been there 30 seconds earlier. Walter Combs. Same handwriting as every day before. I followed him down the hall. I opened Diane's door myself. She was alone in the bed, smiling at the empty chair beside her, like someone had just sat down in it. "He always comes right on time," she said. "I don't know why nobody else can ever see him." Diane passed away that same night, peacefully, in her sleep. Walter Combs never signed the log again after that. I still work in hospital administration, just not at the front desk anymore, and not at Ridgeline. But some nights I still think about that ink appearing on its own. And I wonder whose name is being written down right now, for someone else who thinks they're finally getting a visitor. Under general anesthesia, a patient isn't supposed to remember anything at all. Mine kept surfacing just enough to whisper the exact same 6 words, every single time, in surgeries months apart. On patients who had never met, my name is Dr. Sarah Mitchell. I've worked as an anesthesiologist at Larimer General Hospital in Denver, Colorado, for 9 years. I know the science of going under better than almost anything else in my life. That's what made this so hard to explain. It started with a routine gallbladder removal. My patient, a 30-year-old man, was fully sedated, vitals stable, monitor readings showing deep anesthesia the whole way through. Then, about 20 minutes into the procedure, his lips moved, just barely. I leaned in, thinking it was a reflex, a twitch in the jaw. Instead, in a flat, quiet voice that didn't sound like his own, he said, "There's someone else in here." His vitals never changed. His eyes stayed closed. 30 seconds later, nothing, like it never happened. We finished the surgery without another issue. I logged it as a rare case of anesthesia awareness, which is real. and documented, if uncommon. I told myself that was all it was. Then, 4 months later, a different patient, a woman in her 50s undergoing a completely unrelated knee surgery, said the exact same 6 words. Same flat tone, same missing inflection, like she was reading them off a card instead of speaking them herself. There's someone else in here. I checked the equipment. I checked the drug dosages, the monitors, everything that could explain a pattern like that. Nothing lined up. 2 patients, 2 surgeries. No shared history, no shared surgeon besides me, saying the same sentence word for word, while their bodies stayed completely still. I told a colleague about it, expecting him to laugh. He didn't. He just went quiet and said he'd heard something similar from another anesthesiologist years back, before he transferred hospitals. That doctor, he said, eventually stopped doing surgical anesthesia altogether and moved into outpatient work instead. Nobody ever got a straight answer out of him about why. He wouldn't say more than that. 3 weeks ago, I needed a minor procedure done myself, nothing serious, and my colleague administered the anesthesia. I remember counting backward. I remember the ceiling tiles starting to blur. Then I remember being aware again, still under, unable to move, unable to open my eyes. My own body completely paralyzed by the drugs the way it's supposed to be. And I felt my jaw move on its own, my throat forming words I never chose to say. In that same flat voice I'd heard twice before. I couldn't hear myself say it. But when I woke up, my colleague was standing over me, pale, staring down like he'd seen something he didn't want to describe. I asked him what I said. He just shook his head and told me I should probably take some time off. I still work in that operating room, but now, every time a patient goes under, I find myself watching their lips a little too closely, waiting to hear what they might say that isn't really them speaking at all.